Welcome back to Election Night in America, 2024. Today, Senator Joe Kennedy of Massachusetts faces off against incumbent Vice President Mike Pence. It is 7 p.m. and the polls have closed in 6 different states, including the swing states of Georgia and South Carolina. Out of the state of Vermont, we can project that Joe Kennedy will carry their 3 electoral votes. He has defeated Mike Pence with nearly a 30% margin of victory. However, in the state of Kentucky, in their 8 electoral votes, Mike Pence is the winner there. 6% of precincts are reporting he is going to win with over 60% of the vote so far. In the state of Indiana, Mike Pence is the projected winner. He is going to receive a little less than 55% of the vote. There is still a little wiggle room for Kennedy to close the gap, but we do not see a plausible path to victory for him here in Indiana other than running the table, which is not going to happen. It is currently too close to call in the state of Virginia, where 3% of precincts are reporting. Kennedy has the early lead, but Pence is starting to catch up. The state of Georgia is currently too early to call. Again, the urban areas have not been counted yet, so we cannot. And even though Pence has a big lead, we cannot project that he is going to win yet. Pivotal swing state, South Carolina, 9 electoral votes. This is probably the first year that it has been in contention. And Kennedy has the early lead, but again, a lot of Republican precincts have not been counted. Our current electoral count, 3 for Kennedy, 19 for Pence. It's 7:30 and the polls have now closed in 3 different states, including the battleground state of North Carolina. However, out of the state of South Carolina, an early call from here, we can project that Mike Pence is the winner there. And out of the state of West Virginia, 4 electoral votes. They lost an electoral vote due to the census. Every 10 years a census is conducted. They had 5 the previous 2 election cycles. 3 actually. They now only have 4. Still a win for Mike Pence, though. He's going to receive a little more than 70% of the vote, a huge victory for him in the state of Indiana, or in the state of West Virginia. 17 electoral votes in Ohio. They also lost an electoral vote due to the census, but still have a lot of electoral votes to distribute between Pence and Kennedy. Currently, Pence has the lead, but Kennedy is keeping it close. This state has trended to the right in recent years, but is still a battleground state, and the Kennedy campaigns still believes they can win it. And as they had North Carolina, unlike Ohio and West Virginia, they gained an electoral vote. They now have 16. And Pence is currently trailing Joe Kennedy. Our current electoral map, Pence with 32, Kennedy with only 3, although not a lot of blue states have been called yet. It's now 8 p.m. and the polls have closed in a variety of different states, including the swing states of Florida, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Maine's 2nd District. The polls have also closed in states that are trending to the left, such as Mississippi. The Kennedy campaign believes they will lose it by only 3 points, whereas Pence has them winning it by a safe margin. Kennedy is also expecting a huge victory in his home state of Massachusetts. Let's get started with our next calls. Out of the state of Virginia, we have a key race projection. Joe Kennedy has carried it. It's 8:05 p.m. Pacific, or Eastern Time, and Joe Kennedy has won the state of Virginia, and there are 13 electoral votes. 34% of precincts are reporting. And Kennedy, the gap has not closed between him and Pence, and we do not expect it to close. 3 of Maine's 4 electoral votes are going to go to Joe Kennedy. He's going to win with over 60% of the vote, but their 2nd district has not been called. Out of his home state of Massachusetts, he is also the projected winner there, with over 70% of the vote. Nearly 3/4 of every person in Massachusetts has voted for Kennedy. Rhode Island, they lost electoral vote due to the census. However, it still does not have a ton of impact, and Kennedy is going to win there. Out of the state of Connecticut, 7 electoral votes for Joe Kennedy. He is the winner there. And out of the state of New Jersey, Joe Kennedy will carry that state in their 14 electoral votes. Out of the state of Delaware, 3 electoral votes. Joe Kennedy is the projected winner there. We can also project that he has won Maryland's 10 electoral votes, a safe Democratic state, not close at all. We have a call out of the state of Washington, D.C., where Kennedy is the projected winner. And lastly, a call out of the state of Illinois. Kennedy has won. They lost an electoral vote, like a lot of Midwestern states, but still has a lot of impact and still the biggest state in the Midwest. Now, we have calls for Pence. 11 electoral votes. Mike Pence is the projected winner. Out of the state of Alabama, he is also the winner there, getting 8 of their electoral votes. It's a winner-take-all system, so even though Kennedy got 39% of the vote, he will not win a single electoral vote from the state. And an early call from Mississippi, we expect our model expect this to be too close to call for around 30 minutes because of its recent trending to the left. However, it is still a Pence state, and it will stay that way. Kennedy getting 44% of the vote, but it's not enough to flip the state or put it into contention. Out of the state of Oklahoma, Mike Pence is the winner there. Not a single blue county in the state. In the state of Missouri, we can also project that Mike Pence is the winner. He did a lot of campaigning there, and we expect him to carry it with nearly 57% of the vote. He will win it over Joe Kennedy. Maine's 2nd congressional district with 1 electoral vote. 23% of precincts reporting. Both of these candidates believe they are going to be the winner there. Kennedy cites his northeastern roots and the fact that he campaigned there a lot, whereas Pence believes it is trending to the right. And he did focus a lot of money there, even though it's only 1 electoral vote. It is a key bellwether for the rest of the country. Right now, Kennedy has the early lead. In the state of New Hampshire, it is currently too close to call, as it is in Pennsylvania. They lost an electoral vote, but still have a lot of impact on this race. The state that gained electoral votes is the state of Florida. And look at how close this is. There's a 0.06% difference between Kennedy and Pence. 2% of precincts reporting in the Sunshine State. Currently, Joe Kennedy holds 90 electoral votes to Pence's 74. Still, a lot of states have not been called, and please stay tuned for continued coverage of Election Night in America 2024. It's 8:30 and the polls have closed in Arkansas, but first we do have some early calls. Georgia, very bad news for the Kennedy campaign. This is the first state that went to Pence that Kennedy believed he was going to win. He believed he was going to win it by 4 points. Right now, Pence is ahead by 2. Surprisingly early call there. Not a lot of chatter at the Kennedy campaign headquarters right now in Boston, Massachusetts. They're not very happy with that call, and disappointing for them. In Indianapolis, Pence's campaign headquarters, they're very happy, and the mood has dramatically shifted. Whereas earlier in the evening, it was Kennedy's campaign headquarters that was feeling very good. Pence's headquarters is now filled with energy, and Kennedy's is more nervous silence. In the state of Ohio, we have a major projection to make. Mike Pence is the winner there. It was expected, but still a good win for him there. And lastly, out of the state of Arkansas, no upset here, but still good for Pence to have it in his camp. He has now taken the lead over Kennedy. Kennedy with 90. I should say 90. I apologize for the error. So it's actually 90 to 112. We now have poll closings in a variety of different states, and a ton of swing states, including states of Arizona, Texas, the Rust Belt, and of course Minnesota, which I guess you could consider to be part of the Rust Belt. Some states that used to be swing states, such as Nebraska's 2nd District or Colorado and New Mexico, have now trended to different wings of the spectrum. Nebraska 02 has trended to the right, whereas New Mexico and Colorado are trending to the left. Out of the state of New York, they lost 2 electoral votes, but still have a ton of votes to distribute. They're giving them all to Joe Kennedy. The race has been called there. In the state of New Mexico, 5 electoral votes. Joe Kennedy is also the winner there. Lastly, out of the state of Colorado, 10 electoral votes. They gained an electoral vote due to the census. Kennedy is also going to win there. going to receive 54% of the vote to Pence's 44%. Now, the Pence states include Louisiana, where he is going to win easily, North Dakota, and South Dakota as well. We also have a call to make. In Nebraska, all 5 of their electoral votes are going to go to Pence. He's currently holding a 7-point lead in their 2nd district, the only district in contention, and Kennedy hoped to flip it. Unfortunately, the night is not unfolding the way that the Democrats wanted it to. Kansas State's electoral vote's going to go for Pence, as are Oklahoma's 7 electoral votes. And in the state of Wyoming, the small state in the Union, 3 electoral votes going to go for Mike Pence. Michigan is currently too close to call. 50% of the vote for Pence, 47.8% for Kennedy. In Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes. Unlike most of their neighbors, they did not lose a single electoral vote. Currently, Mike Pence holds the lead there, but Joe Kennedy is keeping it close. In the state of Minnesota, they lost an electoral vote. Joe Kennedy holds the early lead there. In the state of Texas, the 2nd largest state in the Union by population, 41 electoral votes for them to give out. Currently, Joe Kennedy holds the lead. This state has trended to the left dramatically in the past years, and this, in my belief, this is the year that it finally flips to the Democrats. As of right now, Kennedy holds the lead, but still very early, and we can't make a call yet. In the state of Arizona, 12 electoral votes. They also gained an electoral vote due to the census. That area of the country is very rapidly growing. Kennedy holds the early lead over Pence. 132 electoral votes for Joe Kennedy and 157 for Pence. Pence has already won in a few swing states, including Ohio and Georgia, and is currently leading in a bunch of other swing states, including Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and yeah. The polls have closed in 4 different states, including the swing states of Nevada and Iowa, although both are definitely favoring a certain party. Nevada favors the Democrats and Iowa favors the Republicans. Out of the state of Montana, they gained an electoral vote, and they redistricted their congressional districts, 4 electoral votes for Pence. We also have a call out of the state of Utah with 6 electoral votes going for the current vice president. He's going to win there easily over Kennedy. In the state of Iowa, an early call again, getting a lot of early calls for Pence, which is very good news for him. This state does definitely favor the Republicans, but the Kennedy campaign believed they could make it too close to call for a couple hours before it was finally called for Pence. Nevada, 6 electoral votes, currently too close to call. Well, Kennedy holds the lead, and he believes he's going to emerge victorious at the end of the night. 157 electoral votes for Pence and 132 for Kennedy. Please stand by for some major projections. Out of the state of Arizona, Joe Kennedy is the winner there. Their 12 electoral votes are all going to go to his campaign, with 74% of precincts reporting. The gap has yet to close between him and Pence, and we believe it is not going to close. A huge win for him in Florida. The state has trended to the left recently, but still is in contention, and the Pence campaign believe they're going to win it. Right now, Joe Kennedy is the winner. He is going to win this race by around 2.5%, a little less than that actually, with 60% of precincts reporting. Over 50% of the vote for Kennedy, 48% for Pence. In the state of New Hampshire, up north, Pence believed he was going to win that state. Kennedy is the projected winner there. He campaigned there. He cited his northeastern roots, and he believes the people there chose him to be their next president. 179 electoral votes for Pence and 157 for 157 for Pence, 179 for Kennedy. The polls have closed in 5 different states now, including the solely Democratic West Coast. However, out of the state of Nevada, we can project Joe Kennedy is the early winner there. Not early, but still, a little early for a call. With half the precincts reporting, he is winning by 6.7%. And out of the state of California, Joe Kennedy is the winner there. He is going to win the 55 electoral votes. Oregon, they gained an electoral vote due to the census. Kennedy gonna add 8 more electoral votes to his pile that is rapidly growing. The just so you know, the past 5 states they've called, 2 of them swing states, have all gone to Kennedy. And out of the state of Washington, he's also the winner. And in Hawaii, the second most Democratic state in the Union, with over 61% of the vote, he is the winner there. He's currently at 264 electoral votes to Pence's 161. He just needs to win one more state, other than Alaska, to be the next president of the United States. Alaska's polls have closed, but first, we are going to call Wisconsin for Mike Pence. This state trended to the right over the past few years. It once was a reliably Democratic state, now is a swing state. Pure toss-up. Pence is the winner there, and he is also the winner in the state of Alaska. Not a big surprise there, but still good for him to have. He has added 13 electoral votes to his stockpile. 161 to 264. Please stand by for major projections. It is now in the AM on the East Coast, and Minnesota has gone for Joe Kennedy. With his win in Minnesota getting about 51% of the vote there, he's also won in Michigan, but we also have a projection to make after that. Joe Kennedy has been elected the 46th President of the United States of America, and he has defeated Mike Pence. Pence had the lead for much of the night, but Kennedy, he got a strong comeback late and did not look back from there on out. In North Carolina, their 16 electoral votes are also going to go to Joe Kennedy. We can also project, as you can see, a big win in North Carolina. After this, major projections to make. Pennsylvania is going to go for Mike Pence, the current vice president. He campaigned in the Midwest a ton. He believed he was going to also carry the states of Michigan and Minnesota. He carried 2 of the 4 contested Midwestern states. As you can see, he is the winner of their 19 electoral votes, just barely edging out Kennedy. In the state, we have some major projections to make as well. In Texas, Joe Kennedy has finally flipped it from red to blue. As you can see here, a huge victory for the president-elect, and he is going to carry the state barely over Pence with a 0.6% margin of victory. A lot of third-party voting, which is interesting, because the Libertarians got 5% of the vote in Texas. 5% of the vote. That's very interesting that they got 5% of the vote, and we believe the most of that was taken away for Pence. And if you gave only 60% of that to Pence, he would have won this state. Very interesting, but it's not going to matter at the end of the night, because Kennedy, even without Texas's 41 electoral votes, would be our next president. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys subscribing. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I really want to get to 150 subscribers so I can launch something else. If not, please hit the subscribe button. I do understand that I did have a ton of electoral vote errors throughout this election night. I really am sorry. I didn't realize that until now. So, yeah, I'm sorry. But if you like this, please like the video. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you all later. Adios.